There was a time where I said, this is way more than a breakup because what is happening to me right now? Why am I feeling this overwhelming sense of fear of dying? I literally felt like I was a little girl left alone in a house when ultimately I know I'm a grown woman. I'm 60 years old. I've taken care of my entire family and myself for years without any issues. So, why all of a sudden this immense terror has entered my body? So, I learned about childhood trauma and how we interpret our surroundings when we're babies long before we even know consciously. So what I believed when I was a baby was downloaded into my nervous system, when my parents were both sick when I was about 11 months old, and I was left alone because no one was able to take care of me. So I may have interpreted that as an abandonment wound. So once I understood that, I said, okay, I have a childhood wound. I have childhood trauma. Okay, now what? How do I fix it? I can't stand this feeling. I want to fix it now because that's what I grew up doing. I grew up fixing things. I researched childhood wounds, facing shadow work, and they basically said the same thing. You need to reparent yourself. You need to sit with that little baby, you as a baby, and hold them and use your imagination to imagine yourself comforting you as a child. And I looked it up and I said, is that it? Is that, I mean, it seems simple, and I did it and like, okay, all right, I'm ready. I did the work. Why don't I feel better? So it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice and a lot of awareness. It's more than just recognizing the interpreted fear. So now, as an adult, I know all the ways to regulate the nervous system, and I have to consciously apply it. So, some of the things that helped me through that feeling of abandonment, besides the parenting, the weighted blanket or the heated blanket, the warm showers, the making sure I was eating healthy foods and staying hydrated and staying around people, getting sunshine. I literally had to take care of my body consciously. What that does is when you have that interpreted abandonment feeling, you go through this process as you grow up. When you're faced with stress and fear in your environment where you can't run and you can't fight, you fawn, you people please. So this is where people pleasing starts. It starts from childhood. It doesn't have to be dramatic childhood trauma. It could be little t or big T, but it's still a survival technique. And those little survival techniques with fawning and people pleasing, that shows up as self abandonment. And what self abandonment is, it's that every time you want to avoid a confrontation, where you want to avoid something that is uncomfortable, like telling the truth, sticking up for yourself, or telling somebody that you care about that something they're doing or saying is making you feel uncomfortable because you don't want them to get mad at you. It's that you're putting everybody else first to make sure everybody else is happy, and you forget all about yourself and you abandon yourself. My whole life, I've been doing that. And I was also asked, what do you do for fun? I'm like, I don't know. I have things that I could do, but I want somebody to have fun with me because I'd like to see them enjoy a trip or a meal or going swimming or going to the lake or doing something together instead of just doing it by myself, because it feels like, what's the point? What's the purpose? So I still have a long way to go. The way that I'm learning about it is through meditation. And this isn't a meditation channel. This is a more of like a self-awareness. You can meditate every day for the rest of your life and not get anywhere. It's the self-reflection. That's where the real work comes. It's the asking yourself the hard questions. Like, why am I feeling like this? This something's not right. Why do I feel why am I not happy? Why do I feel this pent up resentment building up in me when I am acting like I'm happy, I'm acting like I'm grateful, but something's off. What is it? And I feel like a light bulb went off in my head because I never knew all this was happening to me on a subconscious level. I didn't know I was unconsciously people pleasing. I just thought I was being nice. When you're so used to being nice all the time and you're keeping everything calm, and because you're not allowed to be angry and you're not allowed to cry and you're not allowed to fight, you got to be the good girl or the good boy, get it all out instead of holding it in, because holding it in so long, because that's how you adapted when you were a child. You weren't allowed to fight. You weren't allowed to run away because that was pretty scary. And we just basically never learned how to manage our fears and our emotions. So as adults, we bring that pattern with us, and it comes up through the subconscious, and it keeps us stuck. It keeps us trapped. Just because you're in a relationship where you're not fighting, are you being honest with yourself? Is your partner being honest with you? Are you growing together, or are you growing apart and just choosing to stay together because it's safe? What you can do is you can notice every time you self abandon yourself. You can write down, what is it that I want? What purpose do I have in life? Not for everyone else. What is it that you want? Where do you see yourself? Do you see yourself traveling? Do you see yourself creating art? Do you see yourself volunteering? Do you see yourself meeting new people? Do you see yourself learning a new hobby, learning how to dance? Life is here to have fun and enjoy. And since I've been doing this work, I'm like, you know what? I got an important message to say that somebody like me could hear this and maybe recognize themselves. And let me know in the comments if you learned for the first time what self abandonment is. See you next time.